what you know. And all can show is all you think you know. When you look around this world, you know. What can you see? If you really look deep within, you will be surprised at all that we can see and learn. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We must watch what is being put before us, forward in front of us. Today, I'm getting into us seeing everything in the world around us and actually examining and paying attention to all that is going on. Not getting caught up on the things that really don't matter, the comfort foods that we shouldn't be eating, but more of the healthy foods, the healthy stuff that we should be digesting and getting into. I have the guitar up here because it's an instrument that I love. It's probably, would I say it's my favorite instrument? Yeah, I would have to say it's one of my favorite instruments that I fell in love with as a child. I've always loved the guitar. The sound of it, playing it, it's fairly easy, but it's a challenge finger-wise. But it's great. It's a great instrument. When we look at being in the time of revealing, this is a time when all is going to be made easy for us to see. All our questions that we have are easily answered. But we're only going to get those answers from within. And those answers come to those who are not not held back by the ego. Because the ego is what holds us back and pulls us down. And that's part of ourself. So when we can let go of the ego, then we can move more forward in our knowledge. and accepting. And within that door that I talk about, that door that I speak of, will open up and we will connect to that which has been hidden from us for such a long time. And that's our higher self. And all the answers lie behind that door. But it takes for that ego has to totally disappear before we can really start moving forward in our lives. Because it's very, very, very challenging when you're dealing with your ego. Your ego blocks you out from a lot of things. That's the number one reason why everybody is not conscious, because of the ego. The ego rules over this particular world that we're in. When you talk about the masculine energy, hold on. Sorry about that. I'm back. So the ego is the number one thing that we must put to the back burner, at least to the back burner, to when, especially when we're on our road to trying to get through that door. So when we're trying to get through that door, we have to put that ego behind us and move forward into the door, humbly letting go of self and really letting go of this world around us as well. Letting go of emotions, letting go of thoughts that pull you down, that drain you down, that really don't build you up. And that's pretty much majority of the consciousness we've been given in this particular world that I speak of all the time, which is the major hub or the headquarters of the ego, because you're putting that behind you and you're moving forward within yourself to receive the answers that are actually going to enrich your life on this particular world, and actually help you get out of this world and into the world you're supposed to be in. But that's done through you. All done through you. Not through a man named Jesus, named out Christ, named after everything that is you. Because when you think of Jesus, it's us. Oh, it's us. So the Christ, the crystals, is you, within you, the soul. So basically, it's kind of giving you a clue. If you don't have self-hate for self and start loving the image put forward, which is the illusion, because it's the word made flesh, but it's made a particular flesh to get you to come off of your path that you're supposed to be soldiering on, and to get on the path of that particular world that's led by the ego. So I say all this, I break down all this because it's very important to see that the ego will get in the way of you being able to see anything spiritually, or even conceptualizing the spiritual realm. So I had to let go of a lot of things, especially this world, and start all over again. But in starting all over again, that's when my door would allowed me to come in and gave me the answers and started guiding me through different people to listen to, where to get certain information, because I had no clue, just being the ego, thinking that Jesus out it was a man and God was a man outside of me, and was, I was totally lost. They weren't going to help me. They don't they didn't have the power to help me. I had the power the whole time, you know. So where it may be hard for some, it's because that's what it is. It's the ego that gets in the way. But this is definitely the age of Aquarius, where all the questions that you have is put before you. All your answers are put before you to those questions. But what blinds us is definitely that ego. So now we know what holds us back. Let's uh, start looking around and examining the things that are happening around us, and in our lives as well, but mostly around us, because that does affect our decisions that we make, our and our path, you know, that we're on. So in those decisions, we decide we will go down the right or the wrong path, right? So we're being guided, we've been led, but there's a lot that has been revealed to me, and when you're in tuned, you can see it, but if you're not in tuned, you may miss it. It's because you're still wandering around, allowing the ego to lead instead of the soul to lead you. What is within you, your higher persons to lead you. But this is what I see, and this is what has been revealed to me lately. Um, I see that obviously where there is, we are being prevented from moving forward because of the breakthrough that is that we have ahead of us in the future. And I've talked about this before, time and time again. Before Trump got into office and became president, I spoke on this. I spoke about how they were going to fight like hell. And this is just the nature that they're going to fight like hell. And they haven't stopped fighting like hell ever since. So this low energy is fighting like hell to hold the high frequency energy people that are capable and have the ability to move this planet, move this world up to a higher height, in a higher position. They don't want us to be on top, to lead this world, to change this world, to take it from being led by the ego to being led by the soul, by the soul. The soul, which is encoded with uh, the words, the wand, the power to heal and correct all the destruction that has been done to us on this planet and the planet as well. So it is doing everything in its power, including using a lot of high frequency beings against other high frequency beings to keep the frequency and the energy of the planet down. Hold on. And so it's holding us back through various different ways. It's trying to do this. But I can't really speak on, because everybody who has put the ego behind them should be able to see the same thing I see. We all should be in on one accord on what we see and we know that is going on. You see. And so it doesn't want us to move into the future, to the, but like we know, this is what we know on in this dimension that we live in. We know the past, present, and future. When we know the present is the now, right? And we're always living in our future. We're always living in our past because those things are actually one. So, because we understand that the ancestors are within, so they haven't went anywhere, and our children are also come from within. So if everything's within, so everything's in the present. So when we have to see, especially the most important thing, if we see that we know that this is an illusion. So what is put in front of us, we definitely have to start seeing what it is telling us, what it is saying to us, because it's very critical that we start doing this, because this is how we play defense with the physical world. Because what happens spiritually happens before it manifests physically. That's why all this energy protection is necessary. Uh, we got the orgone combs, which I really like. They got the orgone combs, cylinders. That's what I should say. I especially like they got the orgone wands, they got the pyramids, you got the round ones. Let me actually share. Get in, she's not in class, Mama. Can't get her in class. Hold on, let me share this. They got all kinds of organs. I think I'm gonna start making the protection something like, let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and make it like definitely something you can wear around your either your arm, wrist, or put in your car, or and then I like my favorite ones is like this one here, the round ones, this right here with shungite, quartz, and crystals. Let me make it bigger. I keep forgetting where I'm at. But this is, like I said, loud and clear more than ever. We should be able to see these things ahead of time. Our psychic energy is very high. When these energies and frequencies are in the planet, we need to be taking advantage of them. Like I said, stronger than ever is the psychic ability. The intuition is really more stronger. Our sensory is stronger. We can feel danger more, to know to take precautions. We shouldn't be falling victim to anything on this planet anymore. We really shouldn't, unless you're just plain willy-nilly out here doing whatever. I'm serious when I say this. Hey, I'm back. Hey, Sonara Smith. Um, I got these children and they keep me busy. But let me get my mind right here. Meditation, doing what you love to do, not what you have to do or what you're forced to do, it's going to be critical. You're going to have to make a decision. Do I continue on this mentality of the ego, or am I going to live? Am I going to protect the sanctity of this life I've been given? And that's you um, allowing the soul to guide you. Okay, because I was trying to see how to put that, because we do have the 42 confessions, right, of the soul, because the soul doesn't do anything. The soul is not going to be accountable, contrary to what we've been taught and we've been told in Christianity. It's not the soul that's living the life, it's the flesh, it's you, it's the ego that we have to defeat within self to get to our power to be able to conquer the world around us, to be able to overcome the world around us, to be able to make decisions to empower ourselves against the world and to formulate a new world for ourselves. So, like I said, things like these, I love the circle ones. I haven't got me a circle one yet, but I think I may be more interested in making them. And like someone said, they were interested, they would buy it from me when I do make them. I think they're critical to get out to people, but it's got to be people who really have let go of the ego, because it won't, these things cannot work for you if you are not protecting yourself spiritually by grabbing a hold and getting snuggled with your soul. If you're not trying to open the door and get to your Akashic records to get the information that you need to know to connect with yourself, your true self, your higher self, the Christ within you, the God, what is going to make you the God, the God, the generator, operator, destroyer, as a whole, utilizing two brains, none of this will work for you. Yeah, they kicked me. I got kicked off, so I'm back. But like I said, Now, oh, hold on. Let me put up a second. I'll be with you in a second, family. Maybe this is not a. Okay, I'm back. But here goes my organ that I have. And like I said, they're trying to prevent us from moving forward into our victory. And they're pushing all the stops, especially our own. Especially our own. And I want to share, because I'm sure this guy, he doesn't mind me sharing because so there were many entities in there. Oh.
Attention homeowners.
I want to share I'm going to share her video. But there's another guy too.
Writing's not that easy.
Hold on.
Grammar
video that I want to share. Hold on. From yesterday, actually while I was jogging, I was listening to him. And let me get my history. And he was talking about, hopefully they don't kick me off, a lot of different things that are going on. And, you know, they block us from talking about certain things, but hopefully I don't get kicked off from him talking. I thought this was, well, interesting, but because I foresaw this. I foresaw this years ago, and I probably mentioned it. And this is about the relationship. And I really don't want to get into it right now because it's you know, we're on an open forum. And I don't want to give the energies, the lower energies, the liberty of my information. Because my information, along with things I pick up from other people, equates to power to me. And I'm not willing. I let them figure it out for themselves if they ain't already figured it out. You know, some things you don't give up everything. Okay. And I won't. I mentioned it. It was mentioned a long time ago for a purpose on Facebook. That those dynamics and their relationships I mentioned a long, long time ago for a purpose. It was mentioned that one time and for that one time to be able to see in the future, in the now, the present. So I'm not going to get into that anymore because those with eyes to see shall see on their own. We are gonna, as a people, we're gonna see and conceptualize just like I can conceptualize. We all can conceptualize. That's what I'm saying. It's not just one person on the planet that can see these things. We all have the ability to see. So let me get this video because this guy, he really was going in on. Okay, here he goes. Everything will change. I love the way.
Thank you for tuning in live here. I mean, the first part is kind of like random, but I mean, I love noodles, so I know a lot of other people love noodles, so I just wanted to bring this part up, and then we're gonna get into the automated drone lock you down world. But first, before we get into that, why am I showing you noodles? Why? I mean, I had to because scientists create flat pack pasta that morphs into shape, living, moving organisms. So this is only the first phase to what I wanted to talk about. So now they're gonna have your noodle shape shifting. I mean, I love noodles, but I'm not gonna eat some shape shifting noodles. May 6, 2021. In our efforts to rein in overwhelming burden upon Earth's living biosphere, every little thing adds up. Even the shape of pasta of all things can make a difference in our consumption resources. So now they've gotten the shape shifting noodles out there. So for noodle lovers, you need to watch out. And we'll get into all the noodle drama later, but let's get into something else that's really going on here and something that we need to really be watching out for. Now, what Biden has said, he set a goal for 70% of the U.S. adults to have one shot of the vax by July 4th. This is his goal. This is the big pharma medical goal, basically. Now, we're going to go further into this detailed aspect into what they actually want to do. They want to enforce literally drones, autonomy coming to your front door and giving you some, you know what, I'm going to go word for word with this. I'm going to go word for word, and I'm not going to skew any information because you know how it is when you talk about stuff like this. But I'll give you a vision real quick, and then I'm going to go to the documents and let you see. Here's a vision. Imagine a fleet of CDC drones hovering near your home, sniffing the air for CV particles by using onboard PCR testing equipment using a CT setting of 45. The drones report that your front porch tests positive for COVID. Your front porch, right? But then it says, yet there's no record that you have a vax passport at your reported address recorded in a government database. Within seconds, an AI-powered humanoid robot arrives at your address in a driverless vehicle. It then walks up to your front porch, comes, knocks on your door, and maybe knocks down your door. I don't know, I'm just saying. But aggressively, and then announce it in a robotic voice. This is the CDC, Rapid Response Team. Have you been vaccinated? And then you go down, and they say they got self-spreading vaccines. And it says self-spreading vaccines are genetically engineered to move through populations like communicable diseases, but rather than causing the disease, they confer protection. So self-replicating, hive mind type of scenario. But anyway, I'm going to take you to the documents here in a second, but it's really crazy. I'm going to go into it with you, though. We need to know this stuff because this is what they're planning. And you need to know what's going on. Now, obviously, the Chinese rocket debris and all that stuff has been a big drama and stuff in the news right now. I feel like it's a psychological operation for either the situational war with China or just a future scenario where something drops out of the atmosphere and they got to make it a big deal to blame on another country. But also, it could just be that they want that to be the escalation tension point. Either or, what do you think? But anyway, China's rocket debris is now expected to crash to Earth this weekend, officials say. Obviously, we know all of that. What is the other detailed aspect of what's going on? Really, people thought the lights that they seen that was launched in the sky all over Arizona, all over Utah, all over places, people seen it in Texas. They were thinking that that was probably a part of the situational aspect of it actually being the Chinese rocket. But supposedly, Elon Musk, he did actually launch one of his Starlink prototypes, and so it wasn't that, because that's going to be coming this weekend. Mysterious bright lights captured by many Washingtonians Tuesday night is believed to be an earlier satellite launch, according to National Weather Service. All right, so let's get back to why everything would be changed. And this is John Hopkins' documents that I wanted to take y'all into, because this is super important. So make sure you get this out. I posted it on this channel for a reason, and we're going to go into the links to the PDF document where they talk about the self-spreading vaccines and stuff like that that's genetically engineered to move through populations like communicable diseases, but rather than causing disease, they confer protection, they say. The vision is that a small number of individuals in the target population could be vaccinated, and the vaccine strain would then circulate in the population much like a pathogenic virus, resulting in rapid, widespread immunity. Let's hit the document. Let's hit the document. Now, page 7, I'm going to start you off from there. So, remember, it's up to you. If you want to change something about reality, it's up to you to share information. It's up to you to blast this out right now. Twitter, text your mom, text your dad, text whoever you can about it. Send it via email, send it everywhere, because, again, you know this is not going to get out unless people like you have the heart to get it out. John Hopkins, Bloomberg School of Public Health, Center for Health Security. So I'm literally going into the documents. John Hopkins, who put all the numbers out about, oh, the world it's over, everybody's dead, is high numbers and everything else that we've seen. Let's go down. And it says technology to address global catastrophic biological risk. And we're going to go down to page 7 with you. So let's just do it like this. 7, there we are, straight to page 7. I don't want to. Disease detection and surveillance and situational awareness. Now check it out. Ubiquitous genomic sequencing is a surveillance tool. Ubiquitous sequencing would allow for the near real-time characterization of pathogen biology, including determination of virulence, transmissibility, and sensitivity resistance to medicines or vaccines. But then they go in and say drone networks for environment detection, networks of land, sea, and air-based drones autonomously conducting environmental surveillance would be one way to help fill gaps in monitoring of environment for biological disruption to important ecosystems and bioterrorism events. Well, the same airist, I ain't gonna say terrorist, I'm gonna say airist, the bio-airist who just got a divorce right now is still running rapid. Anyway, drones can traverse different ecosystems to collect data using a variety of sensors and tools ranging from optical cameras to complex biotechnology. So they're literally telling you, we're gonna have drone networks monitoring air, monitoring sea, monitoring land, basically monitoring your apartment, your house, whatever else. If anything is there, if they see any viral, small, little, nano, spectrometer, whatever you want to call it, if they see it, then they come there, and then it's oh my God, deploy the drones, send in a humanoid robot. Anyway, it says remote sensing agricultural pathogens.
And the funny thing about it is, it's why they talk about herd immunity. Which isn't immunity. It's actually to get us sick in order for this to take place, right? Well, let's go on, and since he brought it up, let's get into the dynamics. I'm going to go ahead, because this guy, this next guy did such a good idea. He did such a great job, fantastic job at breaking down the dynamics of the relationship, that it was like this guy did a good job at breaking down the dynamics of the relationship of these two, of this power, so-called power in the illusionary world power couple. So I'm going to share.
Stop. Did you know every time you shop on Amazon, you're helping someone make passive income?
I'm going to share that.
Yes, you could be helping someone like me, a dude in my 20s, make money in my sleep. It's true. And here's how to find out exactly how much passive income you're making people like me. Step 1, the next time you shop on Amazon, scroll down to the product description part and see what the bestseller rank is. Step 2, see if the ranking's below 10,000.
Hey guys, welcome back. Now, recently Bill Gates and Melinda Gates got divorced. One of the biggest divorces in history of one of the richest men in the world. And I think that the interesting thing about this is that it really closely parallels my track, my own life, because I had my own divorce. And I thought I would do the favor for you of psychoanalyzing this for you. All we can do at this point is speculate because there's not too many details about this, but I can make a lot of informed assumptions. Number one is I think it's disturbing that even Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, these two very wealthy men, were not able to keep their wives, not to mention myself as well. And, you hear a lot of talk about men trying to be the best versions of themselves if they just work on themselves and make their money and attain status.
That's because the money is great, but it's about personality. And we know that there's 12 personalities that everybody who was born possess. 12 personalities.
And become the best option available for a woman, that the woman will not leave the guy. Well, we're seeing now that this isn't necessarily the case. Even Elon Musk got divorced like 3 times or something. And so it doesn't matter how good of an option you are for a woman. Actually, her best option is herself. It's her own narcissism. And I believe this was what led to my own marriage's demise as well, because I was actually very high status, the most high status person within our vicinity. And this may be an instructional lesson to any other high achiever out there, because as they say, the only people who remain married are those who were not worth divorcing. Quick pause. Dogecoin. Maybe we should all get some Dogecoin. You can get some on the Webull stock trading app, where you'll get 2.
Remember, dynamics in relationships matter. Dynamics. So with the low energies, it's always going to be money, money, money. I forgot how I put it outward to someone. I put the difference between low vibrational beings in relationships and the high frequency beings being in relationship when they are in the environment that they're supposed to be in, and all of the DNA codes on the outside of them is balanced with the codes in the inside of them. That means everything that their world outside of them is balanced. They're getting all their needs met on the outside, and all the needs can be met on the inside as well. So
2013, the Gates Foundation, they always send out this annual letter written by Bill Gates. And then Melinda Gates wanted to come in and start writing part of it. And they got into this huge argument. And she says, we both got angry. I thought we were going to kill each other. I felt, well, this might just end the marriage right here, she recounts in her book. So she had written this book, The Moment of Lift, How Empowering Women Changes the World. And then after that, the marriage lasted another 8 years before it dissolved just recently. And like Melinda Gates was just really into this whole equality thing. She wanted to be equal with Bill Gates.
No, she's a real partner because she is, totally equal in how we do these things.
We weren't quite there yet when he left Microsoft, to be frank, because he'd run the company, right? He was the CEO of the company and the chairman of the board. I knew he was for it. We just needed to change a few of our ways of working together.
It's no longer a secret. Regular people from different backgrounds are becoming millionaires faster than ever before. They're buying houses they'd never dare dream of. They're driving cars that cost double or even triple what they used to make in a year. And most importantly, they have more time than ever to spend with the people they love. They are living awesome lives. But how are they doing it? That is the million-dollar question. And if you're not interested in the million-dollar answer, then go ahead and skip this video. And I apologize for wasting your time. But if you do want to know more, keep watching, and in the next 60 seconds, I'm going to teach you the fastest way that I found to become a millionaire in the new economy. Hi, my name is Jeff Lerner, and I didn't become a millionaire the traditional way. I didn't work for 40 years, I didn't invent anything, no trust fund, and I certainly didn't win the lottery. But I did take a massive shortcut, and since then I've made over $60 million in my online businesses. I've been on the Inc. 5000 list twice, won a bunch of different awards, and most importantly to me, I have helped a lot of other people take their own shortcut. And now for the first time ever, I'm sharing the secret to my success with everyone for free in a brand new book called The Millionaire Shortcut. And I'm not going to do this forever, but for right now, it is 100% free. No catch, no shipping cost, and no credit card required. And I will send it right to your email, and you'll be able to download it instantly. So click the link included with this video right now. Go to my website, enter your email, and get your free copy of the book. This book is less than 20 pages, and you can start reading it in the next 5 minutes. And I will promise you, it is going to be the most powerful book you'll ever read on the subject of how average people are becoming millionaires in the new economy. Right now, there are over 1,700 new millionaires created every day just right here in America alone. And it is more than double that across the globe. People are becoming millionaires faster and easier than ever before. But how do they do it? And more importantly, how can an average person do it too? Well, that is exactly what you're going to learn in this book. So with that said,
I'm sorry.
You know, it's like Bill Gates was exceptional. And she just walks in here and thinks that maybe she can somehow be his equal. I'm not sure if she's actually at his level. She's probably not, right? Quite frankly. But from my perspective, it's the ego, the narcissism to not only compete with him, but to outdo him that may have been responsible for the collapse of their marriage. In fact, in the Netflix documentary, Bill's Brain, you see Melinda talking about how great she is, how much she's adding to the foundation, how she's adding a woman's perspective, a woman's touch that no other man would have been able to add. And, you know, I'm just wondering, like, why is there this consistent focus on herself? It's all about her. Why not we focus on the work at hand, what we're actually trying to do here, instead of trying to up-level your own status?
Bill has amazing scientists and innovative ideas for getting new toilet technology. It will absolutely change the developing world. But if they can't think about the experience of a mom as the one who takes her child to the toilet.
She's always been in Bill's shadow, and she describes her journey as trying to get out of his shadow. Whereas, I mean, come on, these people are really a team. And what she failed to do, and what my ex-wife failed to do as well, was to view their husband's success as their own. You're part of the same team. There's no reason to be competing with each other. And yet she is really striving for her own individualism, which is one of the values that Western society preaches to everybody, that we all have to be individuals. Why can't we be great teams? And meanwhile, in the documentary, it was noted how Bill Gates never complained about his wife, and yet she would always be insisting on this notion of equality.
It doesn't feel like there's any inequality, you know, even though he's the one that started Microsoft and not her. Like, he appreciates everything about her, as opposed to like complaining about her or something. I've never heard him complain about her. He's the only person I know on this earth who I've never heard complain about his wife.
Now, how did these two people meet originally? Well, the origin story is that after flirting a bit back and forth, Bill asked Melinda out for a date, and Melinda was not impressed. In fact, she rejected him and said, maybe come back in a little bit later on. I think she was even dating some other people in the company, and then later on he called, had a date, and they both loved puzzles. She beat him in a math game. She's very competitive like that. So from this perspective, I think that maybe she never really respected him or wanted to be almost above him. Now, as for their political work and the foundation's global work, which can be very controversial, and I don't want to get into too much whether you think vaccines are safe or not, but I think it's interesting that the Gates Foundation originally began as just the Bill Gates Foundation with the aim of bringing a laptop into every classroom. And then Melinda decided one day that global poverty was important to her. And so Bill Gates does her this huge favor of renaming his foundation into the Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation and reshifts the priority of their work towards whatever she wanted, right? And so he's invested billions of dollars into global charity work. And yet, this was still not enough. She had to go off and start another charity, the Pivotal Ventures Foundation, all by herself, in which she would be essentially competing with Bill Gates on their charity work. And so this brings us to our second reason for divorce, which is far more concrete, and it is control of assets, control of money. Because if Melinda Gates, for example, she wants to direct all of the funds into her little venture, Pivotal Ventures, to empower women, and let's say whatever Bill Gates is doing, she doesn't really care about, then the only way for her to seize half of the assets is to get a divorce in order to take control of the funds and put them into whatever she thinks about. Maybe she disagrees with Bill Gates on a number of things. Maybe she wants to write the annual letter. And if they're in a marriage, she would have to argue with her husband about everything. She may even have to learn how to compromise and get along with other people, some teamwork, communication skills, maybe, which maybe is too much to ask for somebody, but just imagine if they had gotten a prenup, right? She was this product manager working at Microsoft when they met. And there's just no way she would have amassed $1 billion fortune. Maybe she would be making $100,000 per year. Maybe she would have even been laid off by now. And for her to accomplish the things she wanted and to make the impact that she wanted in life, she would have had to learn to get along with her husband and work with him on things. And maybe she would have even stayed with him because he would have been giving her and providing her so much of the good life that she would have been thankful, appreciative, maybe show some gratitude to the person who gave her everything in her life and set her up, although she just went back and sued him instead. Now, again, I don't want to assume too much here. Maybe they just have side boyfriends or girlfriends. Who knows? So this is just all assumption. Now, the other point I want to make here is that wealth has enabled them to live separate lives. If they were poor and struggling to maintain a household, they would not have the option of just each going off in their own directions, each with their own fancy cars and mansions to go live in. That would not simply be an option. They would have to stick together and make it to the end of their life, helping each other out. And that team dynamic may have actually led them to a happier life where they actually cared about the things that matter in life, which is people, and not their own narcissistic power, some charity foundation to see who gets to donate the most money and who gets their names in the newspapers and who gains the most social status. And then one more point here is that quite possibly Bill Gates was a very eccentric person. In the documentary, he's seen as this very intellectual bookworm, kind of a nerd. He would read tons of books on vacation. He would read 14 books. And when I saw that, I wondered,
Dogecoin has had an unreal last 12 months. Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, Snoop Dogg. I don't know how to say Shiba Inu, but I
wondered, how would he have any family time with anybody else if he's so obsessed about learning? And even in the movie, you can see Melinda belittling him, saying, well, when he's off reading, he could have gone to bed an hour earlier. Maybe he's working out some emotional issues in his life. And it's like she doesn't really care that much about it. And the movie, he's mostly off just doing his own thing by himself, playing tennis by himself, going off reading by himself, spending the majority of his time in the office away from home. So I can just imagine during the whole COVID lockdown, they probably had a little bit too much time together. He's noted as being very stubborn, competitive, and disliked authority. Like in his early years, he had a lot of hard times listening to his parents because he didn't understand where their authority came from. And things got pretty bad. He would show them disobedience and disrespect, although later on he became very close with his parents and they made up. But I can just imagine that if his wife had come to him trying to dominate him, he probably would not have taken that very well. And quite frankly, he's one of the most powerful people in the world. I don't think any person should go in and try to dominate this person. And so what I'm trying to say here anyways is that people are not perfect. Not even the richest man in the world. You have to cut people some slack, right? If this person is going to be the most powerful person, they're going to not want to be dominated. They're going to be probably a little bit eccentric. And maybe you can just give them that, learn to deal with it. And in return, they will treat you like a queen and give you the world. And as for Melinda's insistence on equality in marriage, where everything has to be equal, well, how did that turn out for her? Especially when she was not his equal. She just wanted to be that in her head. Anyways, for Bill Gates, welcome to the club. And I think he said the best here.
You have to pick a pretty finite number of things to tell your mind to work on. You have to decide, what should you care about?
Enjoy your freedom and tranquility. And to Melinda Gates, if you're watching, just know that I am single and I'm probably far more alpha than.
Just a bunch of confusion. Just a bunch of confusion now. Okay, let's get into the next share.
Attention homeowners!
Still are, and many.
Hold on. Let me see something here.
Morning, brothers and sisters. I am so glad to be with you this morning. And morning, brothers and sisters.
We have the fallen angels.
Hold on for a second. I'm sorry about that. I'm back. Oh, here we go.
Okay? And we must awaken. The Indians were Hebrews. The language that they spoke was ancient Hebrew. And there was a common language, ancient Hebrew, not the new one that's kind of mixed up with the Europeans. But the old, what they call Paleo Hebrew, okay? That was a language. And it was a common language of those Eastern tribes, were all so-called black copper color. It was the language of the Eastern tribes, you know, from Newfoundland all the way down to Peru. And by the way, Peru is the city of David in the Bible. You can look at it and see it. Peru, Machu Picchu. They don't know where it came from or what it is. No, we know what it is, okay? So there's one more thing that I must tell you before I forget. Do you guys remember that we had a total solar eclipse back there in 2017? I think it was. Did I write it down somewhere? The exact date where it spanned the whole of America? And I think they said it hadn't happened in over 800 years or something like that. That a total eclipse of the sun. In other words, as the Bible states, you know, the sun blackened and the moon turned red. That's because the sun moved in front of the earth. I'm sorry. The moon moved in front of the sun and it turned red and the sun blackened. That was a total eclipse of the sun. And it happened sometime April 2017. And it crossed the whole of America. Now, the next solar eclipse that will cross the whole of America is in 2024. And it will cross from Oregon and come all the way over to Florida. Okay? So it makes an X. It makes an X in America. What is that X? What does it indicate? It's a 7-year time frame. 7 years of tribulation. 7 years of tribulation from 2017 to 2024. And a lot of people try to say it's Jacob's trouble, but it's not Jacob's trouble. Jacob done had trouble for 2,000 years. From the time that of the Babylonian captivity, you know, gone into slavery.
But look at it like this, family. When I don't even think of Jacob's trouble, because Jacob is not doing the action when you think about it. It's another entity that's doing the action. It's something outside of this Jacob that's doing the cause and receiving the effects. So it's really their trouble. We can't really see it for the face value on the surface, because if we letting it be physical flesh and blood instead of being the spiritual, then how are we going to really see the truth that's put before us? So the troubles, it's saying that it's almost like a spell that was cast. Okay?
You know? And up until this last 500 years, it's not full, because Columbus came over with his dogs. People didn't tell you, they brought dogs with them. 1492, and destroyed our people. Genocide. Destroyed our people, but then they realized they didn't know how to grow corn. They didn't know how to grow potatoes. They didn't know how to grow tobacco, and they wanted all of that. You know? And so they didn't know how. Can you bring somebody who doesn't know tobacco over here and they can grow it? How can an African who doesn't have tobacco in Africa come over here and know how to grow tobacco? They can't, because they don't know tobacco. Okay? So all of those crops that were indigenous here in the Americas, the people here were the ones who knew how to grow them. So they had keepers of sons. They killed the men, enslaved the women and children, raped and robbed, raped the children, and created that mulatto class that they gave the identity to. And some of them was just straight up white folks. Paid $5 to become an Indian. You know? So our people have to know this. We have to tell our children. We got to get it on a social media platform that they watch, that they are curious about, that they want to know. We've got to bring them out of this matrix called America. Well, it's the whole world. The whole world has been miseducated. Because everybody come over here and take advantage of us, go and put up a shop right in our place. We go in there and buy their stuff. We can't get the loan. They won't give it to us. Why? Because they want to keep us impoverished. Whenever we have been on our own, we have developed a very productive community. I came from one. We had our own hospital, we had our own stores, we had our own everything right in our community. We had,
Hey, have you ever wondered what magnetic lashes are really like? Because this is what they're really, really like.
Usually I have glue all over my face, but these lashes, these Moxie lashes, just stuck right on with the magnets, and I am tripping.
A full set of lash extensions can cost up to $300. A pair of Moxie Lash lashes and the magnetic liner costs less than $80. But after 14 days with lash extensions, you can pay up to $85 just to get another fill. But 14 days with Moxie Lash and you're still on the same pair of lashes you started with for $0 extra. You can wear them up to 50 times. They last over and over again, and you'll save.
Own nursing school. You know, I mean, we had everything. We had our own college, you know, and their teachers loved us, and they pushed us to know, to learn. They don't do that no more. No, because they just want that check. You know, they don't have any concern for us, our own even. They're more concerned with that, what do they call it, that secret society, the next meeting they gonna go to, for their alphabet, no, not alphabet, but you call it those Greek letter societies that they belong to. They're more interested in that than teaching your children. And they want that money. Keep that car. Hey, gotta have me a Beamer. You know, I didn't even know what a Beamer was. Old lady. And somebody said Beamer, and I didn't know what it was. You know, so, I mean, you know, I don't care about a car. My car is 22 years old. It takes me where I want to go and brings me back every time. So I don't care. I don't what it look like. You can say what you want about me. You know, don't hurt me. You remember sticks and stone? Okay, that's me. So if you want to get some questions going, or if there's something else, Clemson, you want me to cover, I would be glad to do it.
Okay, what I want to do is bring in Mama Ashe. Ashe, and I'd like y'all to create this dialogue. Mama Ashe, would you give us your insight to what you have heard? Are you there, Mama Ashe? Oh, I think it's
she might be muted.
Yes, Mama Ashe.
Yeah, she's muted.
Can you hear me?
Okay, here I am.
Okay, I wanted you to give me your insight and contributions to this program this morning. And I know you are a person who is very spiritual, and we have talked and we have actually discussed much of what Callie has said. But I'd like for you to comment on the program today.
Well, I enjoyed being able to hear Mama. Where did she go? I don't even see her in the on the.
I think he took me out. Okay.
Okay, Mama Callie. Yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we can have it like that, Daddy, so I can remember how to pronounce her name. Yes, I enjoyed hearing Mama Callie's truth, her perspective, and her how you say, well, her insight from
in the Bible. You can look at it.
All right, I'm back, family. So we get a little insight from Mama Khalid. I'm gonna actually, once I found her channel, I'll share it with you. If she does have a channel or a way for us to contact her, because she has a lot of information. And we got to keep our heads to the sky. Even though all is an illusion, we live in this illusion, we have to recognize the game. And the game is for the tricksters to out-trick us of our soul on earth, so we cannot live out our experience. But we will only reap what he sows for us. And in order for us, we have to know what's right for us. And when we analyze and study what's right for us biologically, mentally, socially, spiritually, then we'll be on our right path. we will be able to get on our right path as individuals, to move towards the light and, well, towards our darkness into our true light. Because right now we're stuck in the illusionary light. And the way to do that is to be in tune. Know thyself. Because if we don't know thyself, then we're allowing something outside of us to identify or define who we are. And then their ability to define who we are. We are allowing them to overpower us when we allow them to define who we are, because then in defining who we are, they basically have all controls. So we have to take back our controls and define ourselves. Stop trying to see things from their eye, because that's still being in the ego. You allowing the ego to direct you to where you need to go when you need to go to your God self, your hero, the Heru, the key, the melanin, the I, the first I. So with that said, true love, real peace, the higher self within the soul. Till next time, family. Peace and love.